Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Our patient today is 2008 Subaru Outback LL Bean edition with a H6 engine, capacity of 3 liters. Now, the interesting thing about it is that the customer went to the mechanic. I don't know which one. Maybe I'll inquire a little further into that. But the mechanic said that no problem, we can replace it for you for $1,400. $1,400. Okay, fellas, if anyone tells you that they can replace this for $1,400, they're scamming you. It's a scam. They're just trying to make an unreasonably a lot of money off of you. On Subaru parts, whatever was it, like cheap Subaru parts or something like that, you can Google it. This device costs $650, a little less, $630, something like that, plus shipping. Then on top of that, you need to pay about maybe $150 for someone to just put your VIN on it. You put it in your car and you're done. It shouldn't be more than, or the prices that I usually give, estimates, if you want to have this replaced, is $850 to $1,200, right? $1,200 being like the absolute highest you can charge for this, because it's basically just not worth more, especially since your car is worth maybe $2,500. So why would you put $1,400 into replacing something that, by the way, can be fixed for $100 at Black Horse Repairs? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fix this one and we're gonna save the customer $1,300. Actually, not really safe, because obviously there's no way you should be paying that much for this device. It's 2008. There's really no reason. Well, anyways, what we're gonna do is just resolder the IC608, which is this one, and the problem is gonna go away. Let's get some nice focus on it. Is this focused? It is. Oh, good enough. Alrighty. So, for today's session, I selected an interesting topic, and you will probably be surprised that I have done a lot of Forex stuff. By Forex stuff, I don't mean the Forex trading, although I did my fair share of trading. By trading, I mean primarily on the test servers, so no actual money, because I'm not a trader. Let me just preface that I am not a trader. I don't have the necessary knowledge to be a trader. But Forex is kind of different. You don't actually need that knowledge. I mean, there's plenty of places that or plenty of, well, call them scammers, that will tell you that they have a secret strategy, tools that you cannot acquire anywhere else, and you're gonna make millions. You're gonna get rich on Forex. Do you know anyone who got rich on Forex? I don't. Do you know anyone who makes money on Forex? Well, I do. Or maybe not me personally. I've heard of people, or my friends told me about their friends that way. So I can't attest to it myself. And, even, you know how easy it is to just kind of fake your lifestyle. There are even services that you can order that will allow you to take a picture in a jet, right? It's not an actual jet, it's just a studio that is kind of made into to look like like a jet, and you pay like, I don't even remember how much it was, but like a few $100s for a shooting session, or the photo session, where you just drink champagne and sit on the private jet, and then on Instagram you say, yeah, that's my jet. I'm just going to do some shopping in LA, and so is that guy really making money on Forex? I don't know. It seems like it, but is it real? We don't know. So I haven't even really heard of anyone getting rich on Forex or trading it in general, right? There's this trader, let's call him YouTuber, because he's got a YouTube channel, so he's a YouTuber, right? That's kind of, I'm told that's how it works, right? I'm not a software engineer or a repair technician and publish my stuff on YouTube. No, I'm a YouTuber. Fine, I don't mind. His name is Patrick Boyle. You must have heard of him. If you're into trading, you definitely have heard of him. He tells very interesting stories, and also explains a lot, right? Because the majority of that goes over my head, because I'm not a trader. I don't have a formal training. But what was my point about Patrick Boyle? Oh, basically, getting rich on trading. So the returns that people might promise you, aka not a financial advice, right? Or after they give you a financial advice, they just remind you that it's not a financial advice, which makes no sense to me. Why would you even give me an advice and then just say that, hey, I actually don't know anything and I'm not allowed to tell you anything, so just, I don't know, forget it. So on one hand, I'm giving you the financial advice, on the other, I'm telling you that it's not a financial advice. So fine, but the returns you might see are, just few percent in a year, right? I'll say 10%, right? So if you invested $1 million into trading, after a year, you have extra $100,000 after a year. So that's kind of how trading works. So if you have a lot of capital and you're a smart guy or a gal, definitely, you can do something with your money there. And there are ways to trade where you're just kind of guaranteed to not lose. Maybe you won't make money, but you're definitely not losing any money. So in my view, it kind of defeats the purpose. But there are safe ways to trade. Not on Forex, though. I mean, maybe on Forex, too. Basically smart investments, right? But what is Forex? That's a great question. That's what I asked. How did I even get into Forex? Well, I'm a software engineer. I got a project, and I'll tell you a little bit about the project and a little bit about the tools that I built, the tools that I analyzed, and a vast or a lot of people that I've met, mainly through Discord, that also work on which is commonly called the money-making machine, because that is the idea, right? You just deploy your trading bot and it trades for you and it makes you money. You don't even sit at the computer. You just count your winnings every week after the session, right? Sessions are weekly, so that's usually how you calculate your wins and losses, profits and losses, P&L. Is in weekly sessions. So sometimes it's like Tuesdays, Wednesdays that were usually the days where we were pretty high up, but Mondays, Fridays, we were almost always negative. I mean, by Mondays, I mean the actual yeah, it's actually someday. Because obviously, those brokers, they're always scattered across the planet and never in the United States because there's too many regulations in this country. So there's always somewhere in Israel or some places you would not expect to be, the central bank. You would not expect those places to be financial capitals, right? So, first, what is Forex? It's probably Google will tell you more about that and better than I would. But what I do know about Forex is it's a zero-sum game. It's very much like poker. Right? In poker, people sit at the table and they all bring money. And in order to win money, you have to basically take that money from someone else that sits at the table, right? So Forex doesn't create money. It's the money that you take from other entities on Forex. These are your winnings. It's very important to know because there are repercussions of this fact. Very important. Actually, that's the most important thing to know about Forex. If you want to get out of this session or get anything out of this session that you didn't know before, the most important thing is that Forex is a zero-sum game. Nobody creates money here. So, just like in poker, if 10 people sit at the table and everybody puts $1 in, your maximum winning is $9 or $10 minus $1 that you put in, right? You can't win more than $9 because it's basically not in the pool. And that is the same is true for Forex. So there's a metric called volume. Volume tells you how many trades are being opened, closed, how much movement is there. On top of volume, you also have volatility, which tells you how much does it fluctuate. If it's highly volatile, then it's high risk. If the volatility is low, it's lower risk, but there's other problems associated with that. So with having all that information, how do you make money on Forex? Well, first you can be just regular day trader, and that used to be very popular, especially in the scamming industry. People selling you courses how to day trade and showing you, like, look at my results. Going back to Patrick Boyle, one time he was talking about how he started as a young man, hired in the trading firm. He was expecting that he'll get some tools, some, training, something like that. But in reality, they just set him at the desk. Here's your computer, here's your keyboard and mouse, and make trades, right? Make some money. And the reason for that is that if I have a successful strategy, be it on Forex or anywhere else, I'm not going to give it to you, because if I do, the strategy will stop working. Again, zero-sum market. What you do affects stuff. So just like at the poker table, if you put in a lot of money into if you put a lot of money on the table on one hand, that's going to affect other players, right? Maybe they're not going to put in their money, right? Maybe you're bluffing. Maybe you have pocket aces, and there's two aces on the flop, right? So yeah, if you go all in, no one else takes your bet, and even though you have great cards, you won nothing, right? So what do? You slowly raise the pool, right? Or, I mean, I'm not a poker player, so, you know, I'm not giving you an advice on the strategy how to play poker, but I imagine, or at least that's how I do it when I do play poker, and I only play, you know, with friends, and we play for dimes, right? So, you know, technically we play for money, but very, you know, the maximum bet is $1, right? You can't put, or the player cannot put more than $1 for each hand, right? So if there's four of us, the maximum winnings, your winnings can be $3 or $4 minus the dollar that you put in. Simple as that. So, having that knowledge that you cannot share your strategies because it affects the pool, you can conclude that anybody telling you that they have a great strategy and they will sell it to you is taking you for a ride. And not, well, are they scamming you? They, I would say they're, it's a very unusual kind of scam because you are who the fact that you're using the strategy or you're using the tool or you're doing what they tell you with a hopes that you will make money, you are actually performing the scam, right? Again, always keep in mind that it's a zero-sum market, zero-sum game. So if I tell you, going back to the poker table, if I tell you to, you know, go all in, if I tell you to go all in on crappy cards, and the other player wins your money, I don't, because I have nothing. I just tell you to put money in. I'm not putting any money in. Right? Maybe I'm a small blind, I put my 10 cents on it and I'm telling you, go all in, right? You go all in, you lose your money. Some other player wins that money, right? And my whole strategy was to take that money from you so we can give it to that player because I can win from that player easier than win it from you. It's a very abstract example, right? I don't think that would ever happen, but this is pretty much the equivalent of people telling you their secret strategies for Forex. That is exactly it. That's how it works. So, having all the knowledge how Forex works and what are the limitations and problems with it, now let's talk about the tools that I built, tools that other people built, and their findings and my findings. Now, have I made any money on Forex using my tools? Actually, my idea was a lot safer. I just wanted to sell the tools or rent the tools to other traders, and basically I make money off of you, regardless whether you win or you lose. You want my system? Go ahead, it's, you know, X amount of money a month. And I was thinking like kind of low, like something maybe $30 a month, something that you would not think too much of. If it was a few $1,000s a month, well then you just kind of forced to make money, right? It needs to be profitable for you, right? You need to justify that purchase. But $20-30 a month, I don't think you're gonna think about it too much. That at least was my my logic when I was thinking about that and building the system. I spent the entirety of maybe year and a half, maybe 2 years, something like that, working on Forex tools. So now let's get to a little bit of technicals. How does the regular Forex trader operate. So likely what you will have are some kind of charts, right? Some kind of software that constantly monitors the Forex, whatever, well, the Forex, right? It's pretty much one thing. We're gonna get to brokers and all that funny stuff, because there's a lot of stuff in when it comes to Forex. So you have some kind of chart system. That chart system, usually how it works is you have multiple charts. So you have 1 minute chart, meaning the snapshot of the market is taken every minute, right? You have 1 minute resolution. Then you have another chart, which is maybe 5 minutes, then 15 minutes, 1 hour, 6 hour chart, right? And you just kind of get so each one takes a snapshot every period. When those all charts agree based on some kind of formula that you devised, they all agree that one price is going to go up, the other one is going to go down. That is called a signal, right? That's at least what we called it, a signal. And you can buy the access to signals, Forex signals. There's plenty of people selling their signals, which means you just need to connect your MetaTrader terminal to their signals, and your terminal just trades automatically. When the signal comes in, trade goes in. Or you can use it manually, because my system was automated, right? If the signal comes on, there's a map of devices that are constantly trading, and this particular signal goes to device number 1, 7, and 10, right? And those 3 are trading on this set of signals. The other 3 devices are trading on this set of signals, and so on. So then we can, after this session, we can compare which signals were the most successful, and then maybe switch the device. And every single week, we had a new strategy. Not to say that the previous strategies were not being tested anymore, like we scraped everything and put the new strategies in. No, every week we had a new idea of the strategy. But that's just one tiny aspect of this whole thing. There's a lot more interesting stuff where that comes from. So, so the new strategy goes to the new devices, right? And at the very, because what I was using as devices were Raspberry Pi 4s. There was no Raspberry Pi 5 yet. That was all pre-pandemic, so not super long ago, but quite a few years. So a lot of stuff may have changed, obviously. So my knowledge might not be up to date anymore, but fundamentals are the same. So since I was using just Raspberry Pi 4s, I could have had, they were like $50 back then or something like that. So I could have many trading devices. And on top of that, I had a few computers that were also running the trading terminals, and we would just every week we would just run analyses, and there's plenty of technical problems, technical issues, and technically the way I was using Forex was not that was not something that the brokers necessarily liked, but there's nothing they could have done about it. But MetaTrader also didn't like what we were doing, and they could do something about it. So yeah, we got shut down. I'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, eventually Forex said that no, you can't use our system that way, and they shut us down. But before all that happened, we had plenty of trading terminals that were testing hundreds of signals every week. And I was not into trading myself. I was just solving the technical issues and making the system work. But the brain behind this whole operation was my friend from Utah. And he went to the trading course, that kind of stuff. He learned what he could from the trading school, right? Then he started learning, having all that knowledge. He started, experimenting himself. And since I gave him the ability to just trade, to just kind of replace like the whole team of traders, right? I don't remember where we topped as far as the trading terminals, but it was maybe around 20 trading terminals that were trading non-stop all session, every session. So he said that during that time, and that was about a year, that he learned more than the entire school could have taught him. Because normally when you are a day trader and you trade manually, you are limited by time, right? You can only do so much in a day. If you have a dozen machines that are trading for you and you're just setting up strategies for each week, adding some signals, removing signals, tweaking the signals and seeing how they perform, so you can so different devices had different strategies that they would use to handle the trades. A signal just tells you, you want to put a buy order for the pair of USD JPY, right? The United States dollar and Japanese yen. But what happens then is, because you set up the take profit and stop loss, right? And with some brokers, you don't have to, depending on, I'll get to that, but depending on your ratio, because you can play on 1x, meaning your $1 is worth $1. But if you trade on 10x, then your $1, if you lose $1, you owe 10. If you win $1, you win 10, right? And there's, believe it or not, there are brokers that start from a 10x. You can't go lower than 10x, and they allow you to go 200x. Ridiculous. And it might seem like, oh my god, it's so awesome, because I just put in $1 and the trade went 10 pips up, and now I just have $1,000, right? Well, that wouldn't be like that actually, but you get my point, right? So again, going back to our primary statement, primary feature of the Forex, it's a zero sum. So where did that extra money come from? For that extra money to come from somewhere, someone else needs to be trading at 200x, and they had to lose, and they had to have a collateral, right? Because that money has to come from somewhere. Just because it says you're rich on the, you won, doesn't mean you get that money. And on top of that, remember that brokers are in it for the money as well, and they need to make money first, and then you can make money. If they don't make money, you definitely don't make money. So imagine you put in the trade 200x, and it's 1 pip up now, and it keeps climbing, right? Then it's 1.5, 2 pips up, 3 pips up, 4 pips up, and suddenly your order is closed. You didn't close it. You didn't do anything. You wanted to keep it open. You just increased the stop loss. But the order suddenly is closed. Well, the broker closed your order. because you were making too much money. And if you make that much money, then the broker needs to cover that, because the broker told you you are 200x. Where's that money coming from? Well, the broker needs to pay it up. Does the broker pay it up? Probably not. They have some way of staying afloat, but they also have plenty of ways of kind of manipulating the market, so they can force some things to happen to just kind of, you know, for to make money, basically, to force the condition on the market that will be favorable for them. There's also, I've heard a lot of stories of brokers making shady moves, but well, what are you gonna do about it? There's nothing you can do about it. Well, you're gonna complain to a SEC? No, that doesn't exist. Not in that country where the broker is. So that is the reality of Forex. But going back to the different strategies that the bots had, was once the trade is on and it's performing, it's fluctuating, right? So each bot would have a strategy that they would just kind of carry their trades. So one would be give it a high TP and a very low SL, right? So we allow that trade to go negative 20 pips, and we take profit at positive 30 pips. It goes to positive 25 pips, right? And it has been, I don't know, maybe 5 hours, 10 hours, right? Then either you can increase the stop loss. So if you put the stop loss at 10 pips, that means, and increase the take profit to 50 pips. Now you have a guarantee. You will not lose more, you will earn at least 10 pips from that trade, and you have a potential of gaining 50 pips from it, right? If it starts fluctuating, starts dropping, then you're just left with positive 10 pips. Minus, you know, it's not net profit, obviously, but, you know, that trade gave you 10 pips. Or bot can decide, depending on the strategy, can decide that this is enough, right? We have it's 5 pips below take profit, so let's just close the order and let's just open another one. The other strategies, this one's actually pretty complex. I don't understand it myself, because imagine that you take 2 trades, one going up, one going down. So you get a signal for the pair USD JPY, and you take both sides of the trade. So you put two orders in, sell and buy. Well, obviously you're not going to make money that way, because there's a pip spread. So either way, one of those trades is going to lose, right? Because they're opposite trades. But because of the pip spread, depending on how high it is, and that is one of the factors, if the pip spread is too high, then we don't put the orders in, and because it's very hard to win. So basically, if you putting a sell order and a pip spread is 5 pips, then the order needs to gain 5 pips for you to just be 0, to not lose. So if you just open and close the order, you're automatically 5 pips behind, even though you opened it and closed it at the same level, at the same price. All right. So that's how brokers make money. They control the pip spread. So now you can. So the bot has put the buy order, right? If it's buy order, then we we're hoping that it's going to go down. All right, because we put the buy order. So this is our bet. It's going to go down. That's when we make money. If it goes up, we lose money. So you put in the sell order, and it's going in the opposite direction. It's going up. Then we close the buy order, and we open another sell order. So with that action, we already lost 5 pips, right? Or maybe more, because it fluctuated. So maybe we lost 8 pips. But that order triggered the market, because maybe it was high volume order, because that's very important. I'll explain why your money-making machines don't work, right? I spent a year analyzing your money-making machines, and they don't work, and I know exactly why they don't work. So maybe this was a high volume order, so you just kind of moved the market in the right direction, the direction you want it to go. Then you put the sell order, and you close the buy order, and the value goes up. But you don't close the buy order until the other players at the table caught on the drift to the, that is going up. Then you sell the order. That obviously affects the market, so it either flatlines or starts going down. But now you're no longer alone in this game, right? A few other people got in on it, and they have pretty much the same order that you have, right? Then it starts dropping. So then everybody puts in sell orders. If they all put in sell orders, the buy orders, so they want it to go down, then it starts going up, and that's when you take profit, right? It's using the analogy of the poker game, you can become a pretty successful trader, in my view. But what do I know? I'm not a trader. So these were the strategies that each bot could have used, and I had actually, I might even show you that. I have it in my notebook, so I'm gonna show you some deep secrets from my notebook, how the orders were being treated. As soon as I get some solder on this chip. Come on, baby. A little more. A little bit more. And I actually found that very interesting as a technical problem, right? I never invested a dime in Forex trading, because it just felt like waste of money to me. I mean, too risky. It's gamble. It's gambling, pretty much. That's why I compare it to poker, because the rules are pretty much the same. Alright, I had some strategies over here. Or I did. But where? It's always when you try to find something it's unfindable. But luckily I have a good, this is Crypto Fox. So this is the typical, well, not typical, but this is one of the strategies. So this more or less looks like this. So there's a fluctuation, and there are certain, like here we have, this is -10, this is +2, right? It went to +2. I don't remember how this one exactly works. Here we have a moonshine strategy, Osiris strategy, right? The Perseus strategy, the Northern Star strategy, like dumb names that I would giving them. Black Friday strategy, right? So all of them would kind of Ramsey's strategy. There's another one. No, this is another example of it, and that kind of stuff. So each bot would have this kind of strategy that it would kind of basically know what it needs to do in case of anything, right? Basically, when to close the trade, when to take profit, and when to just wait for TP or SL to activate. In other cases, you want to just trail TP and SL with the trade. If the trade is going really well, you don't want to close it because maybe it'll go 10 more pips up, maybe it'll go 20 pips down, but you just kind of raise the stop loss until the stop loss is already positive. So once you have stop loss positive, that trade cannot lose, it can only win. But in my experience, they usually would just bounce off of stop loss. They would never go, even if I was trailing the stop loss. And you can trail stop loss too close because there is always a fluctuation. And it all depends on the volatility of the market and the volume, obviously. Because that final value of how high it's going to go or how low it's going to go depends on the volume directly. If there's low volume, that's usually high volatility. Not necessarily, but usually. And at low volume, you don't trade because it's just too risky. Because one single person, one single usually bank or a hedge fund will affect the market by itself. One trade that someone puts in will completely change the direction of the market. Alrighty, now how, because if you've had any experience with Forex, you most likely, is that enough solder? I'll put a little more maybe. So if you ever traded, you most likely have had an information regarding neural networks that are designed to detect, basically generate the signals, right? Because that's what we want. How the signals are generated, as I said, on those charts, usually that's how you measure it. You just do a lot of relatively complex mathematical transformations with a hope of predicting where it's going to go. Simple as that. The other, what you must have heard of if you're a trader, the other approach is to use neural networks to just kind of like have the neural network figure out where it's gonna go, right? How do you train neural networks? You train them on historical data, right? You can replay the entire session, meaning the entire week, the entire session, you just replay it and you give it as a training data to your neural network. Then you ask the neural network to predict the next week, right? Does it work? It does not. It most certainly does not. And you probably ask yourself, well, why does it not work? Well, there are many reasons. One of them is the same reason why full self-driving doesn't work. But the main reason is that training the network on historical data, or even learning manually from the historical data, is, in my view, useless. It is useless because you did not play that game. It's kind of like analyzing the poker game, which you didn't play, right? Maybe it's not the best analogy because, yeah, you can, by analyzing someone else's game and seeing their card and seeing all that live or, reviewed, yeah, you can maybe catch up on their tells, right? Or figure out their pattern, the traits, So maybe it would be beneficial to just watch someone else play before you play against them. But in this case, in Forex, you don't know who's making bets and how big of the bets they're making and what are those bets. The broker knows that, but you don't. You only have some indication of the volume. So you know how many, actually you don't even know how many trades, you just have the volume of how much money is in the pool, right? So you don't know who's buying, who's selling, you just know there's a lot of stuff going on, right? So for that reason, that information from the last session is absolutely useless to you, because if you now take that historical data and say you just let's make it even simpler. Let's ignore the limitations of physics, and let's say you can go back from Sunday to the previous Sunday, having the whole historical data for that week. So basically what you have is the exact, you know exactly what's gonna happen, right? You just moved back in time and you know how the session is gonna go. So what do you want to do? You want to trade. And what happens when you start trading? It turns out that historical data no longer aligns with your reality. This was supposed to go up, but now it goes down. Why does it go down? Well, because you made it go in the other direction and the others reacted to it. It's not only your action that affected the pool, because maybe you only put in $500, right? Or maybe even $10. Well, probably $10 wouldn't skew. But say you only put $500. That's not a lot. The pool is, say, 2 million, right? Or maybe $100,000, right? And you put in 500. That act alone doesn't seem like a lot, because how are you going to affect $100,000 with just $500? But 7 people next to you, so you're doing that, they did the same or they did the opposite, and it's a completely different game. Your entire historical data at this point is useless because you made the sale, right? It will no longer go the same way as it did before. So for that reason, if you learn, if you train your neural network on the historical data, it will not work because you're not trading. There's a difference between trading analysis of someone else's trading and trading yourself. And that is the reason why the neural networks don't work, and they will not. And if there is a neural network that does work, and we have been suspecting that there is, but I'm not so sure, then no one's gonna share it with you. Why would they? If someone actually does have a money-making machine, why would they share it with you? Right? Why would you share it with anyone if you have a money-making machine? And again, we're going back to the statement or the law of trading is that you never share your strategies, because if you do, they will no longer work. Because the only way to make money in such environment is to know something that the others don't know, because you need to take their money, right? The rule number 1 of Forex, you need to take their money. So you need to do something that no one else does, or you need to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing to make money, right? If they're all selling, you buy. If they're all buying, you sell, right? Simple as that. But how do you know? Or now, if you're sharing your strategy and saying that now I'm gonna buy, so others will follow you because you know what you're doing, right? You're a great trader. You're gonna sell now, so everybody else is selling, and that means that all those sell orders will come up negative because too many people sold and no one's buying. So yeah, the price is going down instead of going up. That's what I suspect with those signals that you can buy. This is exactly. I'm sure you by now you just figured, well, what if I tell everybody I buy, but I actually sell, or I do put one buy order at low volume and 10 high volume sell orders, but I tell everybody that I'm buying, right? Everybody buys with me, and I secretly make money by basically persuading you to do something that will benefit me, not benefit you. Because again, for me to make money, you have to lose money. That's how this market works. That's why I don't play. At least in poker, you have some fun. Smoke a cigar, drink some beers, talk to your friends, dirty joke here and there, you know, at least it's fun. Trading is only fun when you're winning. Poker, in my view, is fun even when I'm losing, because it's not a lot of money, because as I said, we're playing really low stakes, like kids stakes basically. So I don't mind losing $2 or $3 in a night when I played for hours with my friends, right? But on Forex, it's only fun when you're winning. The act of trading is not fun. It's actually very time consuming, frustrating, energy consuming. It isn't fun. Why would you want to do that if the only reason you want to do that is to win money, right? Now let's see how much shifted we are. A bit too much. But interestingly, on this side, let's see it from this perspective. No. What am I looking at? From the left one. Let's see it from the left one. How come it's shifted on this side, but nowhere else? How is that possible? And the shift is less than half the pad. Oh, okay, so the left side is, yeah. So the whole chip needs to go a little bit high, a little bit to the top. In this direction. So let's do it. Let's use the big tweezers so I don't have to burn myself. Okay, come on, baby. Melt and jump into position. Don't be shy. Well, let's see if that did the trick. Yep. Okay. Now we're good. Let's see if I can get better focus for you guys here. Yep. So here we have nicely soldered. Yeah, there's a bridge. I can see it. No worries. But first we need to catch the alignment. And it is good. It is good in my view. It's not perfect, but we don't need perfection here. Alrighty. So now for all your traders, all you traders in the audience, let me tell you a funny fact that I discovered while playing with it. Again, be aware that this is the observation primarily from the test servers. So test servers work a little bit differently. There is a little bit fewer outside factors, meaning the trader, the broker is not going to close your trades, and there's going to be fewer eyes on you when you're trading. But when I was working on several strategies, I was always sharing my results with my friend that was the brain behind this whole operation. And one day I shared the winnings, right? Shared the the number, how many pips I did in the last session or whatever. And one day, so normally, what is the good week, good session? Well, if you make 100 pips in a week, I say that's good. That means the majority of your trades, or maybe not majority, but you managed your money well, right? You're positive. 20 pips, 10 pips, that's still okay. You haven't lost. Some weeks, negative 200, negative 500 pips. It happens. Some weeks, it never happened that we had 1,000 pips on positive, right? We would have hundreds of pips on negative, but nothing on positive. And that's mainly because we were testing a lot of stuff, right? So after the session, if you just kind of cherry pick, like this strategy made 50 pips, that one made 70 pips, and those two lost 100 pips each. So if you just cherry pick those two strategies, then you're positive. But the next session, the strategy that was winning in the previous session is now losing, and the strategy that was losing in the last session is now winning. Make sense out of that. So one day I gave him the status, how much positive we are, and that was something in the order of thousands of pips. And oh my god, he was so happy. I wish it was true. I wish it wasn't fake. Because he was so happy, like, oh my god, how did you do that? You're really breaking this system. No, what I did, I just literally put in a random trades, because I was testing the signals, right? Making sure the signals make it to the trading bots. So I just randomly generated signals, absolutely randomly, just buy this, sell this, and and some of these trades, again, being on the test server, I don't have to worry about the broker closing my trade. So those trades started as crappy trades, right? They were losing some. But eventually, after a few weeks, few sessions, that's worth very important to know. This was few sessions. This wasn't just one session. So for a few weeks, I kept those trades open, and I closed them when they were few hundred pips positive. Complete coincidence, accident, you know. I wasn't trading, and since it's not real money, I don't care, right? So I just left them open for a long time, and they made it. But not all of them, right? I had few thousand pip profit on one trade, but few thousand pip loss on the other, right? So, you know, if I calculate my profit and loss, then I'm losing. I'm actually losing. But those few trades that I left in, they just performed excellent. Some of them, obviously. So, it's not exactly that I cheated, but I didn't follow the strategy, right? I just completely randomly made trades, and that worked. So that kind of made me wonder, if I create a new strategy, new signals that are completely random signals, right? Because the whole thing was written primarily in PHP. Some parts were written in C#, some in Java, but the majority of the system was written in PHP, right? So in PHP, you have this function called rand, or empty rand, which, as the name suggests, generates a random number. And I would generate a number of, between, I don't remember, like 1 and 100. And there was a map. If the number is 3, buy USD JPY pair. If the number is 6, sell the, some other pair, right? The USD Euro. And so on. So every few minutes, the system would just generate random number. If it matches any of the numbers in the map, we generate the signal. So complete randomness, and actually, to be honest, pseudo randomness. So that those numbers could have been in a way predicted to a certain extent, at least. So it's not true randomness, but for all intents and purposes, it was random signals that do not follow any kind of math, any kind of strategy, just absolutely random signals. So guess what the performance of those signals were? You care to guess? Drop it in a comment at this point if you have an answer. And if your answer is they performed roughly the same as the real signals, you're right. Roughly, on average, the accuracy of random signals was comparable to the highly sophisticated signals that you would buy from someone. Is that a scam? Well, let me tell you about the amazing people that I met during this venture of Forex. And they were primarily working on the neural networks. I kind of played with it for a little bit, and I concluded that results are kind of, first of all, results are similar, if not worse, and there's no way to kind of learn from it. Because it's not like I can, just debug the neural network and find out why did you take this trade at this time, right? If you use charts, then you have clear indication, right? This chart went up, this went down, the volume was this, the volatility was this, So that's a good signal that we should buy this or sell that, right? At least you can track down the decision why this trade got in. But on the neural network, it just randomly says buy this, sell that, and you do it, right? And the accuracy, again, similar to absolutely random signals. Oh, I had a lot of fun with this project, I gotta tell you. So, what was my point? The guys that were working on the neural networks, yeah. So I was experimenting with that as well. But as my conclusion was that it's basically not worth it. Not before I gained all the information from, well, all the information. By all the information I mean, I've learned a lot from these guys, but when it comes to machine learning, not trading, they didn't know much about trading. That's why they were working on this, because it seems like if anything would be a money-making machine, it would be this, right? Easy. Just train the network on the historical data and just let it go. Let it do its thing, and and you have money-making machine. Awesome thing. But where exactly are you taking your money from? Who's giving you that money? Right? Who would give you that money, basically, right? If you discovered a money-making machine on Forex, just like especially recently, the problems with plagiarism on YouTube. If you have a great idea, it's not going to be yours, or original idea. It's not going to be yours for long, because many will follow. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, where is that money coming from? Or do you think you can just set up your MetaTrader, hook up your bots, trade, and make money, and no one will notice, no one will get interested? No, you get shut down for that. And the reason you get shut down for that is because you're not playing by the rules. That's how I got shut down. I did not play by the rules. I kind of bent the rules. I didn't break any rules. And since the broker is in a foreign country, I just as I can't really rely on them, if they steal money from me, there's nothing really I can do. But for the same reason, if I steal money from them, there's nothing they can do. Right? But they have all the power, they have all the information, and I'm just a user. So how did my system work? Now that they shut us down, I can tell you exactly how I defeated the MetaTrader. And it is absolutely, I love it because of the simplicity of it, right? You're probably expecting that I'm going to tell you of some very sophisticated system and a buffer overflow or underflow, the script injection, or some attack vector that I used to just kind of achieve what I needed to achieve, right? I exploited them. No, it was a lot simpler than that. I didn't have to hack anything. So other than MetaTrader that you get, the Windows and Windows application, I think it only works on Windows, I'm not sure. So other than that, you also have an option of using the web trader. The web trader is exactly what it sounds like. It's a JavaScript implementation of the MetaTrader, which means that I can use a Chrome driver. What is Chrome driver? Well, if you do any kind of end-to-end testing, you most likely use the Chrome driver. Meaning, Chrome driver is the basically like a local server that you start, and that server allows you to submit requests to open the page. Then on that page you can click stuff, you can select stuff, you can pull the information from, so you can use it as a scraper, you can use it as a robot to just kind of do something for you. As long as there is no reCAPTCHA or anything like that, the bot defeating systems or countermeasures, as long as you don't have that, you can use Chrome driver to control any website. And since MetaTrader is a web trader is basically a website, I managed to build a pretty sizable system that would use MetaTrader's web trader, right? And it will just log in with the credentials provided by the configuration, our configuration, and it would log in and just do the trades. And for the same reason, we could, every robot would be constantly on that page. If the page times out, it will check the clock. Because the web trader can get disconnected from time to time, and you can see that by the clock that just stops ticking. If it stopped ticking, you're disconnected, so you gotta reconnect. So the robot would just restart the session, right? Log in again. It would just monitor the trades, every trade one by one. It would check what's the status of it. Do I have to increase the SL? Do I have to increase the TP? Do I have to close the trade? All of that was controlled by the WebDriver. So eventually, we grew to quite a sizable army of bots. And some of these bots, because this wasn't a problem when we were only using test servers, but some of the bots were using real money and trading on the real market. That's when someone noticed that this particular IP address, or the set of these IP addresses, are putting in thousands of orders a week, right? And 24/7 they're constantly doing something. So obviously it's not a human, right? Human would not be doing that 24/7 for every session for the past few months, right? Or even a year. So someone noticed that, and it's not like we received any cease and desist or anything like that. Just one day, when the MetaTrader got updated, our robots just couldn't log in. That's it. They just wouldn't log in. They would get stuck on the login screen, or after login, it just gets stuck on the the spinner. The spinner would just keep spinning, and you're not let in to the system. How did they achieve that? I'm not sure. There are several ways to detect whether someone is using a Chrome driver. So there are also several ways of kind of defeating that, right? So Chrome driver, I can compile Chrome driver from sources, and I can change some stuff in it, right? To just kind of, hide that I'm using the Chrome driver. I didn't do that. Why did I not do that? Well, you gotta know your limitations, basically. The people that shut me down are extremely smart people, okay? There's no way I can compete on an intellectual level with the people that shut me down. I wouldn't even try. And I didn't try. I mean, I was thinking, what are what can we do from here? Because that was kind of like a Black Friday for us. The guy calls me and says, well, the robot is not logging in. Can you fix that? So I check it, and some of my robots are still working, some of his robots are still working, but one of them rebooted because it lost connection to the MetaTrader. It rebooted, and it's just hanging on the spinner. It's the page is not loading, right? So I checked on mine because mine are working. So I rebooted mine, and indeed, same behavior. So I restarted another one, same behavior. So I told the guy, well, we got shut down. We got shut down, and every bot that will reboot now, or every bot that is working right now, that it's the final day of that bot working. If it reboots, it will no longer work. So what I could have done is dump the JavaScript, which is highly obfuscated, and there's so much math and encryption and stuff. Oh my god, it's I tried a little bit of reverse engineering. No, that was way too complex for me. That's way over my head. So that's what I tell them, that we're shut down. And so what I was thinking, what can I do from now? So first, recompile the Chrome driver to just kind of hide some specific information that usually is detected, because I detect a Chrome driver on my systems, because I also don't want you to use the robot. So I know how I do it, and it works. I also know how to defeat my countermeasures, but their countermeasures were much more sophisticated than anything I would come up with. And the game of cat and mouse always ends up with a cat eating the mouse. It's just a matter of time. It's it's not even a statistic. It's you can be sure of that. So say I do develop a way to defeat their countermeasure, and the game of cat and mouse is afoot. How long do you think that would last? Another week, 2 weeks, maybe another month? I don't know when they got interested in us, when they decided that they're gonna shut us down. So I don't know how long did it take them to shut us down. All right, maybe it took them months. Maybe it took them in an hour of one smart guy just doing stuff, right? Maybe it took them 10 minutes. Oh, they're using Chrome driver. Let's just do this, and goodbye Chrome driver. So if I defeated their countermeasure, it would probably be a week, maybe a month, and that would be it. I would have to figure out something else again to defeat the new countermeasure. And is that First of all, is that something that you want to do? I mean, it's maybe fun for the first time, but you know that's no way to live. That's no way to work. If your work is basically fighting with someone who doesn't want you there, right? Someone who's trying to get rid of you, and you just kind of refusing to leave. That's not a good position to be in. That's first of all. Second of all, imagine that frustration every week, every session. And actually, we got shut down in the middle of the session. It wasn't even like the new session started. They released new version of their system, and now our system doesn't work. It was in the middle of the session. It was actually like some afternoon. No, maybe it was even somewhere in the morning. So they didn't need to do much, right? They didn't even need to wait for the end of the session. So the fix they deployed was very quick, very robust. So they have pretty good system. Their development cycle and release cycle are robust. So for that reason, no, there's no way I want to compete with that. So at that point I decided that we are shut down. Not at that point. It took me a few days of kind of contemplating on it, and it took a little while for me to admit the defeat. And it's not even admitting the defeat, that wasn't the problem. It was more like, I spent a year developing this platform, developing this system. And I was so glad it was working, even though it wasn't maybe really bringing money. But I was making money because I was charging my friend. Now my friend, back then it was just my customer, right? So I was charging for good prices, meaning not high prices. If I calculated that for the hour, how much I got paid an hour, that would be maybe $2, maybe even less. So it wasn't huge money, but I definitely appreciate it. I definitely appreciated it back then, even more so than I would now. But kind of sense of accomplishment, right? I built this system, it worked, I liked it. I liked that. But at some point you have to not really admit the defeat, but just kind of face the reality, like, well, it was good when it lasted, but at this point there's just no viable product anymore. Because if they shut me down once, they're gonna shut me down again, and I'm not gonna stay where I'm not welcomed. And they really didn't want me there. I don't know exactly what the reason was. It's not like we were breaking the system, and and I actually can achieve the same thing. I can achieve that using the expert advisor for MetaTrader. So a bit more complex, a bit more complex solution. But MetaTrader expert advisor allows you to load the DLL, and DLL could be written in C#. The good chunk of that system was written in C#, and surprise, surprise, I had a DLL library that contained pretty much the whole logic and everything. The rest was just the application that was calling those methods from the library. So I created an expert advisor and I loaded that library, which means now I had an access to my signals. I had access to the API to receive the signals and manage the bots and everything. So again, the system could have been revived in maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. But that, well, what do I call it? That feeling you get when you've been defeated, you've been shut down. It kind of demotivates you, because it's kind of like they signal to you that, hey, you're doing something wrong. You're doing something that we don't want you to do. So if I'm not allowed to do it on the website, right, using Chrome driver, if I do it via expert advisor, well, it's going to be the same thing, because it's going to work exactly the same, literally exactly the same. It's just going to use different technology. So would that be alright? Did they have an issue that I used the web trader instead of the MetaTrader Windows application? Or was the problem that I was trading automatically and like creating unnecessary volume? Maybe. Who knows? Maybe that was it. Either way, I concluded that if they didn't want me to do it then using WebDriver, they're not gonna let me do it again using Expert Advisor. So I gave up. I don't know where my friend took the system or took the trading adventure further, because we've been kind of out of touch for the past few months. Also, the life was not exactly the kindest to him. He was dealing with some issues, family issues, call it. So, maybe he gave up on trading altogether, which would not be the worst decision ever, in my view. Or maybe he's rich now from trading. Who knows? In either case, my system got shut down. I didn't make a dime, at least not from Forex. I made plenty of money, but that came from the pocket of the person really believing in the system. And he had, because at certain point we became partners in this venture, but initially I was just the engineer creating stuff that he needed. That's how it started. Then we became partners, and one guy really wanted to one guy really wanted to get on the action, really wanted to invest with us. We never took his money, and I'm glad we didn't, because because of what happened. That would have been very awkward conversation, or maybe that would require me to actually start playing cat and mouse game with Forex, or settle on that expert advisor, or I don't know. But I'm glad we didn't take any money. But the guy was really keen on getting into that action, because when you hear about it, yeah, it sounds very enticing. It sounds like we're doing something that no one else is doing, and perhaps we were. Perhaps my solution was the only one out there, right? No one thought of using Chrome driver to control the web trader. Could be. But you see how simple this technology is, and obviously I still have all the source code and everything. Maybe I'll release it for the value of the historical value, because it's useless at this point. But yeah, the software was pretty complex and pretty vast, spanning across 3 languages. Few systems, because there was even if I showed you the diagrams of that system, that's already pretty overwhelming and pretty complex alone by itself. So yeah, I was really happy with it, and it did sound like it was this great thing, like we developed something like, wow, we want to invest with you. But I don't think that that other guy that wanted to invest had any experience and like any necessary knowledge for about Forex to actually appreciate it or understand it, what we're doing. I think he just heard stories and just kind of P&L, because we had good P&L. Well, my partner had, right? I only had P&L on the test servers when I was, testing, because the bots that were trading in production and in let's call it production environment, but being connected to test servers, they were separate from the ones that I was working on developing. Right. Once I'm happy with this bot, then I release it to the wild. And yeah, and even the fact that we had these Raspberry Pis that were trading for us. I had a full installer, right? So I would just get the clean Pi, just hit one script on it, and 25 minutes later it was a full functioning trading robot. So that was, I was pretty happy. Technologically, it was pretty good system. I was pretty happy with it. I just, did it work? I don't know. You can. You have all the information now, so you can tell me if it worked or not. I would say it did not, and it will not, and I don't think anyone is actually getting rich on Forex. Personal opinion of mine, and if you want to start trading on Forex, be my guest. I mean, someone's got to be making money there, So no, don't get discouraged because I say I didn't make any money on it, and with all that, knowledge and experience, I'm just not a trader, So maybe you can make money on it, but Forex is very close to the scam. I would call it a scam. It's designed just like lottery is a scam, to take money from poor people or not too bright people. The same way Forex is designed to take money from people who don't know how to manage their money, or people that just are driven by greed and are not too smart. That's what I think. That's what Forex attracts, right? Even though I met very smart people during this venture, I don't think those smart people are still in that game. I'm not a smart person, but I'm not in that game anymore. And actually, I was never into the game itself. But at least I did want to create tools for the other traders and make money that way. Not trading. Didn't work, but some stuff doesn't. Alright, this has been probably the longest rant ever. Hour 36 minutes. Jesus. Well, if you're still here, definitely leave a comment, because rarely anyone gets to the end of my videos. So leave a comment, and if you are so kind to leave a like on the video, that'd be awesome. And now let's see, this was for Joshua. Joshua, thank you very much for your business. 13 days ago the ticket was started. It took a while to get to me, but it's here now and it is fixed. So no longer $1,400 for you, brother. Now it'll work, no misfires, but if you have any issues, hit me back and we'll resolve them. Alrighty, thank you fellas very much for watching, and I shall see you